Hare Krishna, my friends. Hari Haribo. Welcome to Bhaktiville. I'm here in Bhaktiville with our tech expert, Bhakti Mimulus, and our good friend, Bhakti Greece. And we are here tonight to read Nectar of Devotion. We are continuing our reading of chapter 29, Expressions of Love for Krishna. So these last few chapters have been describing ecstatic symptoms of pure devotees' love for Lord Krishna. And from these explanations, we can see the vast varieties of love and the related symptoms that are expressed for our beloved Sri Krishna. So we're on page 252 of the book and page 289 of the PDF at the section about forgetfulness. But before I forget, let me offer my obeisances. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Vancha kalpa tarubhischa, kripasindhu bevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai Prabhupada. Jai everybody. Jai everybody. I don't know why it does that. Why the kirtan starts going again. Anyway, yeah. Bhakti's laughing at me. Nothing started it. Yeah, I think it's my switching from one application to another. Because so it may happen again. We'll see what happens. All right, so page 252 of the book and 289 of the PDF. So, forgetfulness. When Krishna was absent from Vrindavan and was staying in Mathura, Srimati Radharani sent news to him that his mother, the Queen of Braj, was feeling such separation from him that there was foam coming from her mouth, like the foam on the shore of the ocean. And sometimes she was raising her arms like the waves of the ocean, and because of her intense feelings of separation, she was rolling on the ground and creating a tumultuous roaring sound. And sometimes she was remaining completely silent, like a calm sea. These symptoms of separation from Krishna are called apasmara, or forgetfulness. One completely forgets his position when he manifests these symptoms in ecstatic love. So that word apasmara, so smara, remember, is remembering. And apa means not remembering, so forgetfulness. Another message was once sent to Krishna informing him that after he had killed Kamsa, one of Kamsa's demon friends had gone insane. This demon was foaming at the mouth, waving his arms and rolling on the ground. This demonic demonstration is in relationship with Krishna in ghastly humor. This mellow, or flavor, is one of the indirect relationships with Krishna. The first 5 kinds of relationships are called direct, and the other 7 are called indirect. Some way or other, the demon must have had some relationship with Krishna, because these symptoms developed when he heard that Krishna had already killed Kamsa. Srila Rupa Goswami remarks that there is also transcendental excellence in this kind of symptom. The next symptom is disease. When Krishna was absent from Vrindavan and was staying at Mathura, some of his friends informed him, quote, "My dear Krishna, because of their separation from you, The inhabitants of Braj are so afflicted that they appear to be diseased. Their bodies are feverish, and they cannot move properly. They are simply lying down on the ground and breathing heavily." End quote. In the 10th canto, 12th chapter, 44th verse, and that's 44th, it was a typo, of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit asked about Lord Ananta, and upon hearing this question, Shukadeva Goswami began to show symptoms of collapsing. Yet he checked himself and answered King Parikshit's question in a mild voice. This collapsing condition is described as a feverish state resulting from ecstatic pleasure. There is another statement in the Srimad Bhagavatam telling of the damsels of Braj meeting Krishna at the sacred place of Kurukshetra many years after their childhood pastimes. When they met in that sacred place, all the gopis became stunned by the occurrence of a solar eclipse. Their breathing, blinking of the eyes, and all similar activities stopped, and they stood before Krishna just like statues. This is another instance of a diseased condition resulting from exuberant transcendental pleasure. Excuse me. Whoosh. All right, next chapter. Chapter 30. Further features. God bless you, thank you. Further features of ecstatic love for Krishna. Confusion. There is the following statement in the Hansa Buddha. Quote, "One day, when Srimati Radharani was feeling much affliction because of her separation from Krishna, she went to the bank of the Yamuna with some of her friends. There, Radharani saw a cottage wherein she and Krishna had experienced many loving pleasures, and by remembering those incidents, she immediately became overcome with dizziness. This dizziness was very prominently visible." End quote. This is an instance of confusion caused by separation. Similarly, there is a statement describing confusion caused by fearfulness. These symptoms were exhibited by Arjuna when he saw Krishna's universal form on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. His confusion was so strong that his bow and arrows fell from his hand, and he could not perceive anything clearly. Oh, Hare Krishna Kandita, nice to see you. The next symptom is death. Once the Bakasura demon assumed the shape of a very big duck and opened his mouth in order to swallow Krishna and all the cowherd boys. When Krishna was entering into the demon's mouth, Balaram and the other cowherd boys almost fainted and appeared as though they had no life. Even if they are illusioned by some ghastly scene or by any accidental occurrence, devotees never forget Krishna. Even in the greatest danger, they can remember Krishna. This is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. Even at the time of death, when all the functions of the body become dislocated, the devotee can remember Krishna in his innermost consciousness, and this saves him from falling down into material existence. In this way, Krishna consciousness immediately takes one from the material platform to the spiritual world. In this connection, there is a statement about persons who died at Mathura. Oh, there's some chatter going on here in chat. Kandita says, Hare Krishna, everyone. Hey, hey. And Greece says, I will never trust another duck again. Well, this is a very, very big duck. We don't see those at all. All right, back to this. About persons who died in Mathura. Quote, "These persons had a slight breathing exhilaration. Their eyes were wide open. The colors of their bodies were changed, and they began to utter the holy name of Krishna. In this condition, they gave up their material bodies." End quote. These symptoms are prior manifestations of death. Grease says, okay, he's good. Next symptom is laziness. When, because of self-satisfaction or dislike of excessive labor, a person does not perform his duty in spite of having the energy, he is called lazy. This laziness also is manifest in ecstatic love for Krishna. For example, when some brahmanas were requested by Nanda Maharaj to circumambulate Govardhan Hill, they told him that they were more interested in offering benedictions than in circumambulating Govardhan Hill. This is an instance of laziness caused by self-satisfaction. Once, when Krishna, along with his cowherd boyfriends, was having a mock battle, Subal showed the symptoms of fatigue. Krishna immediately told his other friends, quote, Subal is feeling too fatigued from mock fighting with me, so please do not disturb him anymore by inviting him to fight, end quote. This is an instance of laziness caused by dislike of excessive labor. Inertness is the next symptom. In the 10th canto, 21st chapter, 13th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an appreciation by the gopis of the inertia of the cows in Vrindavan. The gopis saw that the cows were hearing the sweet songs vibrated by Krishna's flute and were appearing to be drinking the nectar of these transcendental sounds. The calves were stunned, and they forgot to drink the milk from the milk bags. Their eyes seemed to be embracing Krishna, and there were tears in their eyes. This is an instance of inertia resulting from hearing the transcendental vibration of Krishna's flute. When Lakshmana, and this is Lakshmana, Krishna's wife, not Lakshman, Rama's brother. So when Lakshmana became disturbed upon hearing words against Krishna, she remained inert and did not move her eyelids. This is another example of inertia caused by hearing. So Greece has a comment. So lack of exercise adds up. Your body isn't used to physical activity. True. In the 10th canto, 71st chapter, 35th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an account of King Yudhishthir's bewilderment after his bringing Krishna into his home with the greatest respect. King Yudhishthir was very much bewildered because of his transcendental pleasure at having Krishna present in his house. In fact, while receiving Krishna, King Yudhishthir forgot himself. This is an instance of inertia resulting from the ecstasy of seeing Krishna. There is another instance in the 10th canto, 39th chapter, 34th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. When Krishna was going to Mathura, all of the gopis were standing behind Krishna, and upon seeing the chariot leaving, they stood there stunned and did not move. They remained like that until the flag of the chariot and the dust thrown up by its wheels became invisible. Krishna was once addressed by his friend thus. Oh, here, Greece has something else to say. I remember a manager who ate too much and was very overweight and barely moved. Got to the point he could not come to work anymore. It's true. And Kandita is whispering, Bhakti, you have a doggy here underneath the temple room floor. Oh, really? Oh, gosh. Need to take care of that. Bhakti says, oh, I forgot him. That's funny. So Grace, back to your comment. So yes, in these bodies we have inertia problems, but this is people who are deciding, or it was laziness, people who are deciding not to do something even though they have the energy and the ability to do it. So Krishna's friends playing around, they have all kinds of energy. They're not they just being lazy. They just don't want to do it. All right, back to the book. Krishna was once addressed by his friend thus, quote, "My dear Mukunda, or Krishna, due to their being separated from you, the cowherd boys are standing just like neglected deities in the house of a professional brahmana." End quote. There is a class of professional brahmanas who take to deity worship as a means of earning their livelihood. Brahmanas in this class are not very interested in the deity. They are interested mainly in the money they can earn as holy men. So the deities worshipped by such professional brahmanas are not properly decorated. Their dress is not changed, and their bodies are not cleaned. They look dirty and are not very attractive. Actually, deity worship should be done very carefully. The dress should be changed daily, and as far as possible, there should be ornaments. Everything should be so clean that the deity is attractive to all visitors. Here, the example is given of the deities in the house of a professional brahmana, because such deities are not at all attractive. The friends of Krishna, in the absence of Krishna, were appearing like such neglected deities. The next symptom is bashfulness. When Radharani was first introduced to Krishna, she felt very bashful. One of her friends addressed her in this way, quote, "My dear friend, you have already sold yourself and all your beauty to Govinda. Now you should not be bashful. Please look upon him cheerfully. One who has sold an elephant to another person should not make a miserly quarrel about selling the trident which controls the elephant." End quote. This kind of bashfulness is due to a new introduction in ecstatic love with Krishna. The heavenly king Indra, upon being defeated in his fight with Krishna for possession of the Parijata flower, became very bashful because of his defeat. He was standing before Krishna, bowing his head when Krishna said, quote, "All right, Indra, you can take this Parijata flower. Otherwise, you will not be able to show your face before your wife, Shachi Devi." End quote. Indra's bashfulness was due to defeat. In another instance, Krishna began to praise Uddhava for his various high qualifications. Upon being praised by Krishna, Uddhava also bowed down his head bashfully. In Harivamsha, Satyabhama, feeling slighted by Rukmini's high position, so Rukmini was Krishna's first wife and Satyabhama was his second wife. So that's the dynamic here. So let me start over. So in Harivamsha, Satyabhama, feeling slighted by Rukmini's high position, said, quote, "My dear king, the Raivataka mountain is always full of spring flowers, but when I have become persona non grata to you, what is the use of my observing them?" End quote. This is an instance of bashfulness resulting from being defeated. The next symptom is concealment. There is a symptom of ecstatic love known as concealment, or trying to hide one's real mental condition by externally showing another attitude. In this state of mind, one tries to hide his mind by looking away in different directions, by unnecessarily trying for something which is impossible, or by using words which cover one's real thoughts. According to acharyas, expert in the study of psychological activities, these attempts at hiding one's real affections are another part of ecstatic feeling for Krishna. In the 10th canto, 32nd chapter, 14th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami states, quote, "My dear king, the gopis were always beautiful and decorated with confidential smiles and alluring garments. In their movements, intended to give impetus to lusty feelings, They would sometimes press Krishna's hand on their laps, and sometimes they would keep his lotus feet on their breasts. After doing this, they would talk with Krishna as if they were very angry with him. End quote. There is another instance in this concealment in ecstatic love. When Krishna, the supreme joker, planted the Parijata tree in the courtyard of Satyabhama, Rukmini, the daughter of King Virabhadra, became very angry. But due to her natural gentle behavior, she did not express anything. No one could understand Rukmini's real mental condition. This is an instance of competitive concealment. I just wanted to say this Parijata tree has been mentioned twice. And Satyabhama saw what was going on with Rukmini and then gave her Parijata flowers. So everything turned out fine. Right. So there's another instance in the first canto, 11th chapter, 28th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. After entering Dwarka, Krishna was received in different ways by different members of his family. Upon seeing their husband from a distance, the queens of Dwarka immediately embraced him within their minds and slowly glanced over him. As Krishna came nearer, they pushed their sons forward to embrace him. Others were trying, out of shyness, not to shed tears, but they still could not keep the tears from gliding down. This is an instance of concealment caused by shyness. On another occasion, when Srimati Radharani thought that Krishna was involved with another woman, she addressed her friend in this manner, quote, "My dear friend, as soon as I think of Krishna, the cowherd boy, attached to some other woman, I become stricken with fearfulness, and the hairs of my body stand up. I must be very careful that Krishna will not see me at such times." End quote. This is an instance of concealment caused by shyness and diplomatic behavior. It has been stated, quote, "Although Srimati Radharani developed a deep, loving affection for Krishna, she hid her attitude in the core of her heart so that others could not detect her actual condition." End quote. This is an instance of concealment caused by gentleness. Octomimulus has a comment. Did they not know that he could expand himself? What about the wives in Mathura? So, no, they did not know that he could expand himself, because then that would mean that he was God. And to them, he wasn't. He was their friend, their lover, their husband. So the wives in Dwarka, they only thought that he was with them. Each wife thought that he was just with them. They aren't aware that he could split. No, they were not aware that he could split himself like that. So each wife thought that he was only with her, although he was with all of them simultaneously, and behaving differently with each one. All right. Once when Krishna and his cowherd friends were enjoying friendly conversation, Krishna began to address his associates in casual language. At that time, Krishna's servant, Patri, was also enjoying the conversation. But then, remembering his position of servitude, Patri bowed down before his master, and with great respect and control, he stifled his smiling. This subdued smiling is an instance of concealment caused by a respectful attitude. Pandita has a comment. She says, Krishna's inconceivable potency, yes, is being able to do that. The next symptom is remembering. There are many symptoms of ecstatic love caused by remembering Krishna. For example, one friend of Krishna informed him, quote, My dear Mukunda, just after observing a bluish cloud in the sky, the lotus-eyed Radharani immediately began to remember you, and simply by observing this cloud, she became lusty for your association. End quote. This is an instance of remembering Krishna in ecstatic love because of seeing something resembling him. Krishna's bodily complexion is very similar to the bluish hue of a cloud. So simply by observing a bluish cloud, Srimati Radharani remembered him. One devotee said that even when he was not very attentive, he would sometimes, seemingly out of madness, remember the lotus feet of Krishna within his heart. This is an instance of remembrance resulting from constant practice. Excuse me. In other words, devotees who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna, even if they are momentarily inattentive, will see the figure of Lord Krishna appearing within their hearts. The next symptom is argumentativeness. Madhu Mangala was an intimate friend of Krishna, coming from the Brahmana community. Krishna's friends were mostly cowherd boys belonging to the Vaishya community, but there were others who belonged to the Brahmana community. Actually, in Vrindavan, the Vaishya community and the Brahmana community are considered prominent. This Madhu Mangala, excuse me, this Madhu Mangala one day addressed Krishna in this fashion. My dear friend, I can see that you are not aware of the peacock feathers that are following on the ground, and at the same time, you are unmindful of the flower garlands which are offered to you. I think I can guess the reason for your absent-mindedness when I see your two eyes flying over to the eyes of Srimati Radharani, just like black drones flying to lotus flowers. End quote. This is an instance of an argumentative suggestion in ecstatic love. And once, while Krishna was out walking, one of the associates of Radharani told her, quote, my dear friend, do you think that this walking personality is a tamala tree? So the tamal tree is a dark tree. There's a footnote here. The tamal tree is always described as being the same color as Krishna. So if he is a tamal tree, then how is it possible for him to walk and be so beautiful? Then this personality might be a cloud. But if he's a cloud, then where is the beautiful moon within? Under the circumstances, I think it may be granted that this person is the same enchanting personality of Godhead, by whose flute vibration the three worlds are captivated. He must be the same Mukunda who is standing before Govardhan Hill. End quote. This is another instance of an argumentative presentation of ecstatic love. We're almost done. I think I want to read the next one. Anxiety. In the 10th canto, 29th chapter, 26th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna asked all the gopis to go back to their homes, they did not like it. Because of their grief at this, they were sighing heavily, and their beautiful faces appeared to be drying up. In this condition they remained, without making a sound. They began to draw lines on the ground with their toes, and with their tears they washed the black ointment from their eyes onto their breasts, which were covered with red kumkum flour, or powder, sorry. This is an instance of anxiety in ecstatic love. One of the friends of Krishna once informed him, quote, my dear killer of the demon Mura, your kind and gentle mother is very anxious because you have not returned home, and with great difficulty she has passed the evening constantly sitting on the corridor platform of your home. It is certainly astonishing how you could forget your mother while you are off somewhere engaged in your playful activities. End quote. This is another instance of deep anxiety in ecstatic love. When Mother Yashoda was very anxiously waiting for Krishna to return from Mathura, Maharaj Nanda gave her this solace. Quote, "My dear Yashoda, please don't be worried. Please dry your beautiful lotus-like face. There is no need for you to breathe so hotly. I will go immediately with Akrura to the palace of Kamsa and get your son back for you." End quote. Here is an instance of anxiety and ecstatic love caused by Krishna's awkward position. So we'll stop there. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for you there at home listening to us now or later. And thank you to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.